Now we're going to see two different verbs that we're going to use with the next periphrasis. One of the verbs is terminar, the other one is acabar. What do they mean? Probably you said to finish. Yes, both of them mean to finish. But how do we use them? Do we use both the same way? Let's see. Can I say, for example, voy a terminar de trabajar a las 5? Can I say, voy a acabar de trabajar a las 5? Although these two mean the same, acabar and terminar, we cannot use acabar for future constructions. So, voy a acabar de trabajar a las 5 is incorrect. Although acabar and terminar seem the same, they are very similar. We use them in different ways. They do not mean the same. We use terminar de in a very normal way when an action has been completed. It doesn't matter if the action was completed recently or a long time ago. For example, I can say, cuando termines de estudiar salimos. So, cuando termines de estudiar in the future, salimos. That means when you finish studying, we will go out. Another example, terminé de leer el libro ayer. I finished reading the book yesterday. Los obreros terminaron de construir la casa en diciembre. The workers finished building the house in December. So as we see, terminar is very easy to use. Acabar is different though. We will use these periphrases to indicate that something has just happened. And remember that word, just. In English, when an action has happened very recently, we will say have or has, just, and then a verb in the past participle. We call this tense present perfect. For example, I have just finished eating. In Spanish, even though we have a tense that is the same, that is equivalent to that, for example, he terminado de comer, we might feel tempted to translate that way. He terminado de comer as a translation for I have just finished eating. But still, we're not translating the word just. So instead of using this tense, we're going to use a perífrasis de infinitivo con el verbo acabar de. So that would be, acabo de terminar de comer. The verb acabo conveys the idea of I have just. Acabo de terminar de comer. For example, how would you translate? Juan acaba de llegar a casa. And what about acabamos de ver la película? Estuvo genial. One thing to remember is that we will always use this construction in the present or in the imperfect. So for example, I can say acabamos de cenar, we have just had dinner, or in the imperfect I can say ayer acabábamos de cenar cuando sonó el teléfono. In this case, it would mean yesterday we had just finished dinner when the telephone rang. And remember also that we will not use acabar with future actions. For future actions, I will go to terminar. So here are some differences between terminar de and acabar de. We use terminar de for the completion of an activity in any given moment in time, past, present, future. We use acabar de only for the recent past, when something has just happened. You can see this very clear in the following examples. Acabo de leer el libro, meaning I have just finished reading the book. Terminé de leer el libro la semana pasada. I finished reading the book last week. So the second example, it's not so recent, right? So we're going to use terminar. Now let's do some exercises to see if you know when to use each.